This episode will cover Airframe Fire Protection Systems. What are the two most common types of portable fire extinguishers used in cabins or flight decks? The most common types are Halon 1211 and water. In what area of an aircraft would you find carbon monoxide detectors? CO detectors are commonly used to check for the presence of carbon monoxide gas in aircraft cabins and cockpits. They are placed where they are easily visible. What color does a CO detector change to when carbon monoxide fumes are present? The silica gel turns a shade of green. Other types will change from a tan color to gray or black. What are two types of smoke detectors? Photoelectric and ionization. Where are smoke detectors used in the aircraft? They are commonly used in cargo and baggage compartments and the lavatory. How are thermal switches wired in thermal switch fire detection systems? The switches are wired in parallel with each other, but in series with the warning light. Describe the operating principle of a thermal switch fire detection system. The thermal switch system consists of one or more lights, which are energized by aircraft power when connected to the circuit by a thermal switch. The thermal switches are heat-sensitive units that complete the circuit at a certain temperature. Describe the operating principle of a continuous loop fire detection system. The continuous loop detector consists of one or more wires embedded in a special ceramic core inside of a conductive tube. In the case of fire or an overheat condition, the ceramic core's resistance drops, allowing current to flow between the signal wire and the conductive tube, lighting a warning light. How does a thermocouple fire detection system differ from the thermal switch system? A thermocouple depends upon the rate of temperature rise and will not give a warning when the engine overheats slowly or short circuits develop. What are two types of fire extinguishing systems? The high rate of discharge system uses halon as an agent and is effective on all fire classes. Conventional fire systems use carbon dioxide and are effective on Class B and C fires. What type of extinguishing agent is usually found in an HRD system? The extinguishing agent is usually one of the halons, boosted by high pressure dry nitrogen. Halon 1301 is the most common and sometimes referred to as Freon 13. What type of extinguishing agent is usually associated with a conventional type extinguishing system? The system usually contains CO2 but may use any other adequate agent. What is the purpose of a yellow disc in a CO2 fire extinguishing system? It is a system discharge indicator disc, and it indicates which bank of bottles has been emptied through normal discharge. How can you determine the size of a CO2 extinguisher? By weighing it. In a turbine engine halon fire extinguishing system, how are the bottles discharged? By an explosive discharge cartridge, a squib, which is detonated electrically, breaking a frangible disc. How is a halon fire extinguishing system protected from temperature rises more than set limits? The system is equipped with a thermal fuse that will melt at high temperature conditions and will blow the red discharge indicator disc. How does ambient temperature affect the pressure reading on a fire extinguisher? Low temperatures will decrease the absolute pressure, and high temperatures increase the absolute pressure. What type of extinguisher is recommended for brake fires? A dry powder extinguisher. How can you determine the service life of a fire extinguisher discharge cartridge? By the manufacturer's date stamped on the face of the cartridge. The service life of the cartridge is usually recommended in terms of hours below a predetermined temperature. What type of handheld fire extinguishers are available for extinguishing interior aircraft fires? The three most common type of hand fire extinguishers for a Class A fire are water, carbon dioxide, and dry chemical extinguishing agents. What type of fire detection system gives a more complete coverage of a fire hazard? A continuous loop detection system. Name the different classes of fires. Class A is solid combustible materials. Class B is combustible liquids. Class C is electrical. And Class D is metal, such as magnesium. How does a photoelectric smoke detector work? The smoke particles block the photoelectric receptors from the sensing light. How would you determine when the next hydrostatic test is due on a portable fire bottle? Look at the label from the DOT information to determine when the next test is due. It will be 5 years from the last test date. What protects the fire extinguisher when ambient temperature is high? Pressure sensitive safety relief diaphragm.